to a lady, and he says that he should have brought at least a high-quality salmon as a gift. With that, Oren presents the salmon to Meryl, and she looks happy upon seeing it. A flustered Theo says that Meryl doesn't even like greasy food because she is afraid that she will gain weight. But then Meryl speaks for herself and says that the fish was so beautiful. Theo is shocked and heartbroken as he hears those words. Oren has his arm around Meryl now, and he was taking her to his home to enjoy the salmon properly, and she was happy to go with him. Theo tells her to wait and stops her by grabbing her arm, and from his point of view, it is like a scene from a romance drama. He is the handsome but poor protagonist, and the woman he loves is going with a rich guy. Theo asks Meryl about all the moments they shared together and all the memories they made. But Meryl replies that she didn't mean any of it, it was all a lie. But she is shuddering as she says these words, and Theo says that he can see her tears. Could she swear that all that was a lie? He thinks back about the unforgettable days when they used to play in the flower fields. But Meryl angrily frees her hand from Theo's grip. She is angry, and that is the reason why she was shaking earlier. She asks Theo not to get ahead of himself. She just smiled at him a few times, and he got delusional that she liked him. And even though she said that she really did not like him, he kept following her. And in her memories, it was clear that she was running away from Theo because he annoyed her. And then she says that she hates poor cats who smell like cheap rice fish the most. And as she points at Theo, he is left speechless. He falls into the pit of despair. Meryl was taken away by Oren, the son of the richest cat in the town, and Theo ran away crying. He decided to run away from his village and become a traveling merchant with the determination to become rich one day to get his revenge. As Theo has finished telling Sejun and the rabbits the first part of his story, they are nervous and feel bad for him. Sejun feels guilty for scamming him now. Theo says that he even went through the necessary procedure and brought the license and other important stuff required to become a traveling merchant. And that cost him his lifelong savings, worth 50 tower coins. He was planning to buy something to resell from the peddler with the remaining 5 tower coins. And that was when he got scammed by Scaram. Theo was in an inn when a goblin called him and asked him if he was a new wandering merchant. The goblin told him that his name was Scaram, and he asked Theo to ask him if there was anything he needed to know. And being a naive cat, Theo believed him. In the inn, Scaram told Theo about items from outside the tower. He was shocked, and Scaram said that they were really precious and that he was only telling this to Theo. He said that if Theo took these items to the upper floors, he could make quite a profit. The creatures on the upper floors collect such things as a hobby. Theo was curious about why Scaram was selling such precious things to him at such a low price. Scaram replied that it was because he came to like the cat merchant, and this could be considered the goodwill of a senior who wants to train their junior merchant. Then Scaram told Theo that if he did not like the deal, it was not a problem for him. He could sell them to any other merchant. And poor Theo immediately bought the items as soon as he heard this line. Scaram then told the cat that since he was in a good mood, he would also give him a bonus. He handed him a piece of paper and said that this was a map with the location of the new user of the seed store. And since it was a new member, Theo could make a great profit from him if he was lucky. But even that information was not really a bonus. Scaram told Theo that since he had given him good information, the drinks would be on him tonight. And poor Theo accepted this offer and even thanked the scammer. So Theo gave all his remaining money to Scaram and bought these items. He had high expectations that he would be able to resell them for a high price. So he starved himself along the way and barely ended up here. As he tells this to Sejun, he is quite sad. But then he starts rolling on the floor and crying. He says that all of the items turned out to be trash. And on top of that, the customer took his remaining money by trapping him with fish. And he cries that he is not really good at anything. Sejun thinks that the cat merchant was really a pushover, but then he suddenly gets an idea. He remembers something, and that was a way he could use it to gain tower coins. Sejun smiles and tells Theo to calm down. He even offers to eat some roasted fish to cheer him up. But Theo has learned from his mistake and says that Sejun was just going to ask him to pay later. He was not stupid to fall for the same trick twice. But Sejun says that he will really give it to him for free, and he will even consider the 5 fish he ate earlier as just a treat. And Theo looks at him with big, hopeful eyes as he asks if he really meant that. But even this kindness is not for free. Sejun asks Theo if he could work with him in exchange. And as Sejun smiles and asks Theo what he thinks, he has added one more chapter to his diary about getting lost in the tower. And Sejun thinks that Theo will agree to him because he was just a pushover. Theo is shocked, and he asks Sejun if he really meant what he said. Did he want them to work together? Sejun replies that he wants a good merchant to sell his items. But Theo asks if Sejun really thought that he was a good merchant. He does not believe Sejun. He says with drooping ears that he was just a noob who was completely useless. But Sejin tells Theo that even though he made some mistakes, he still had some qualities of a decent merchant. And then Sejin smugly smiles and says that Theo touched his heart by telling his story, and that is why he wants to become a business partner with him. Theo is surprised, and Sejin is going to tell him about the business partner deal. But before that, he signals the rabbits to show the merchant their hospitality, and the husband rabbit and his wife are ready to give the cat a relaxing experience. They have created chairs from onion leaves, and there is also an umbrella. The mood is set for sunbathing on a beach, and the rabbit couple is also wearing garlands made from tomato flowers. They are now lying on the chairs, and Sejin is sipping something from a bottle made of onion leaves. Even their straw is made of onion leaves. The rabbits are also fanning them. And now Sejin repeats what Theo told him about himself. He was desperate and took a deal from a shady merchant. But he ended up being scammed and could not sell his goods. And right now, he doesn't even have any money to buy any goods he can resell later. And Theo sadly says that Sejin was right. Sejin excitedly tells him that that is why he wants to become a business partner with Theo. He was proposing an offer that would be a win-win situation for both of them. Theo would take Sejin's products and sell them to other people, and he would get an incentive according to the amount he sells. Theo asks what the incentive was, and Sejin explains. Theo had to sell the goods above the price Sejin had marked. And of course, the more Theo sold them for, the better. And Sejin believed in his ability to sell them for a much higher price. And he would get 3–5% of the price of the items he sold. Meanwhile, the black rabbit is trying to roast a fish. Theo is appalled by the offer. Only a meager 3–5% incentive was too low, and he thinks that the condition is too unfavorable for him. He then angrily sips from his glass, thinking that Sejin took him for a fool. He would not be deceived. But before that, Sejin has yet another thing to tell him. And this was the most important part. Sejin asks the rabbits to bring something, and we can see them walking with many roasted fish. Sejin says that there was not only an incentive, he would pay Theo 10 fish or their value in coins each week. And Theo is absolutely stunned. Sejin says that these were all the terms and conditions of the contract. And now Theo is drooling as he asks Sejin if he was serious about the roasted fish. Sejin asks him if he wants to sign a contract now, and Theo is not so easy to convince. He reminds himself of what happened in the past with him. He was betrayed by Meryl and Scarum, and he has to be smart if he does not want to be deceived like that again. But he really cannot resist the fish. Theo wipes the drool off his face and says that he will consider it if Sejin offers him 20 fish per week. Sejin has the creepy grin on his face again. The cat was really a pushover. He tells Theo that he is in a good mood right now, and on top of accepting his request, he will add 5 more fish. Theo is shocked to see 25 grilled fish piled in front of him, and he cannot stop drooling. And then Sejin throws in another bonus. Theo could eat as much fish as he could when he was here. And that is the last thing Sejin has to say. He repeats himself one more time, and Theo still finds it hard to believe. He is so excited that he has forgotten everything that happened in the past. Sejin asks if he has a paper with him, and Theo has one. Sejin takes the paper and writes the terms of contact on it. And then Sejin signs it as Party A, and Theo puts his paw there as Party B. Sejin says that the contract is complete now, and Theo is also okay with that. But then he immediately realizes that he got so excited that he did not even realize that he signed the contract. And now he is shocked as the contract flies up and disappears. This way, it has been finalized into a contract accepted by the tower. An information window appears where the contract disappeared, and it displays the details of the contract. It was a lifetime distribution contract. Starting now, Theo would have to sell Sejin's products for the rest of his life and bring back the profit. The compensation was as mentioned earlier, 25 grilled fish or equivalent coins per week and 3–5% of the sales as an incentive. There were also special clauses in the contract. As an initial deal, Sejin would give Theo his crops. The contract would be terminated if the sales amount was less than 5 tower coins in 1 month. Theo should sell the crops above the marked price. Also, he could not form any additional contracts without Sejin's permission. And lastly, he had to talk with a cat's accent while selling items. Sejin is happy to sign a contract. He has only heard that it is one of the most important documents in the tower that cannot be destroyed. On the other hand, Theo is devastated, wondering why he signed his first contract like that. Sejin says that he used to wonder why they made the contract so hard to edit and destroy. But now he knows that it helps to make the deals more effective and valid. But then Theo asks him what the 4th condition was in the special clauses. He asks Sejin what he meant by the cat accent. Using the accent from his village was embarrassing for Theo, and he is angry about that. But Sejun laughs and says that he will understand it when the time comes. Sejun puts his hand forward to shake hands with Theo, but he slaps it away. He says that they will see if things work out or not. There was the first condition of the special clause